Hi, how you doing? Thank you all so much for stopping by and listening to today's message. I truly want you to know that I miss seeing and being with all of you. But until we know it is safe for us to congregate, we'll just have to learn to be happy in this now moment. Wow, that's a concept. I believe this present moment is providing us with a wonderful opportunity to stop and even expand our awareness that happiness is experienced only in the now moment when our minds and souls are engaged in unity, love, and acceptance. So, to get there, I have a few questions to ask you. Number one, how are you using this time to your advantage? Are you using this time to get better or bitter? I found this meme the other day and I thought it quite funny. And it says, what new skills did you acquire during self quarantine? And take a look at the picture. Up there for you. So I'm going to ask you this. This is another question. What are you learning? What new insights are you realizing? And what actions are you taking to make the world a whole lot better place? As most of you know, I am really big on living in the now moment. The day it dawned on me that the past was over and nothing I could do could change that, I felt this huge weight taken off my shoulders. For years, I had worked to try and change the past, trying to make up for my indiscretions and just not being fully present. And I felt a huge weight taken off my shoulders when I accepted that it was over. For years, I worked on trying to change the past, but never once was I really able. I suspect you haven't been able to either. I had learned that what the future holds for me is predicated on what I have sown and work toward each moment, along with me listening to the divine directive that is given through my intuition and through God's grace. Now, I want you to know that I, like everybody else, have wishful thinking. Wishful thinking, though, does not make it happen. Getting angry did not enhance my reality either. In fact, much of my wishful thinking left me feeling very empty, very disappointed. But when I remembered it was my responsibility to have my dreams come true, it takes both faith and action. It was my responsibility, my ability to respond that turned my wishes and dreams into manifestations. And folks, from where I was and where I am now, many people say it's truly a miracle. But it had to happen, and only could happen, with me working with the laws of love, the laws of life. I believe this is true for everyone else as well. So today I want us to look at what it is that you are doing with this gift of the present moment, and that is being given to the world. I know gifts can stretch one's imagination, the use of that word, especially when you look at what's happening in our world at the present moment. But change your mindset, change your viewpoint. Please know, I do not dismiss the facts of the day, and I grieve with the loss of life with all who have lost loved ones. But I had to ask myself a very serious question. What can I really do about this pandemic? And the answer was, I can't do anything about the pandemic other than practice safety procedures and affirm, then work on creating a better tomorrow now. At present, I am working on creating a world filled with people who honor and respect each other and look for the good that is also manifesting throughout all of this. I mean, folks, there is good happening all the time, but when we focus on what is not good, that which we don't agree with, deemed by our judgments and opinions, we give that more power. And the more power we give to what is wrong will only create more of what we don't want. Now, in unity, we practice and know the universal principle that where the mind goes, energy flows. We are directing that divine God energy within us, the creative nature of humankind, and we are forming God's substance to create our future. So it may be best to start looking for the light at the end of the tunnel rather than curse the darkness. I have a wisdom quote that I want to share with you. It was first written and coined in 1907 by William L. Watkinson. And the quote is, "It is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness." Is it not better to be a part of the solution instead of adding to the problem? So I ask again, what are you focusing on? What have you been focusing on? If you're focusing on the past, I ask you this question. Can you do anything now to change what happened? The answer is, of course not. What is in the past, it's already over. And you can spend a lifetime living in regret, or you can choose to see what happened and use it as a lesson to better yourself and use it for the welfare of others. Remember, the only thing you can change about the past is the way that you look at it. And if you don't want to repeat the lessons, then learn what you need to think, say, and do so it does not happen again. So again, I ask you, what are you focusing on? Is it on your future? Sadly, many predicate their future lives on the past and their current situation, and then they project that into the energy of life and creates more of the same, if not even worse. I hear people say a lot, nothing ever changes. The past repeats itself. And the truth is, yes, because we forget. Some people project their feelings of being powerless, a powerless victim into the future. And again, sadly, these unknowing souls have no idea that they are creating and using their God-given energy and throwing it out there into the ether so that it will create even more feelings of being powerless, to be powerlessness to be experienced. And then the cycle repeats itself again until you learn the lesson and accept the lesson of what the situation is trying to teach you. Now, once you learn the lesson, you no longer are emotionally attached. You naturally remove your energy from what is not serving you to practicing your faith and taking actions to get you to a new place in consciousness and in life. So here is the good news. You have the power of the Christ within to create your future, to be one filled with peace, love, wisdom, prosperity, and power. So again, I'm going to ask you this question. How do you want to experience your future? If you want it to be, you have to create it. If you want it to be better, you have to create it that way too. You have to use the now moment to get there. I am a great fan of this teacher, Louise Hay, and she taught me many, many, many years ago that there is only one point in time and space that truly exists and holds any power. This is the present moment. Just listen to those words again. The present moment. This moment is a present from God, and where the power of the Christ indwelling awaits your direction. So when you see life from this perspective, you realize that yes, this very moment is a gift to be used and used rightly, and not to be squandered. It's important to remember the past is over, and it's done, and that it has no power over you except for the power that you're giving to it in the now moment, in the present moment. The universal truth is that when you work in concert with the power innate in you, in the present moment, you will be able to direct this energy to create even more good. How wonderful is that? Thoughts dwelled on today literally help mold, shape, and create your future. The truth is you are in charge of how you use this present moment. That's called free will, by the way. In the now moment, you can take your power back. And in the now moment, you are safe and free to create your future. But you will never know what that gift truly is if you are constantly living in your head, focusing your mind on the past and being fearful of your future. Right here, in this very moment, you have the only power that there is to create your future, and that is the gift presented in any present moment. That is the present moment. And depending on how you use this present moment will determine what you will experience in your future. What are you focusing on right now? What are you giving your energy to that will create your reality? Are Are they going to get you to where you want to be? Let's be honest. I chose, as all of this started, that I wanted to enjoy my time during this pandemic and not live in fear and not live in concern and not experience the emotional ups and downs that come. I chose to just accept what was going on around me, and I chose not to complain or to fight it. It is what it is. I also chose to use this time to rest, to better myself through reading and work and play, and for I knew that what I wanted to experience is so much better than wallowing in a pit of self-pity. I continue to deepen my relationship with God, my family, and all of you. I choose to see this time as a wake-up call for humanity, whether it is or not. This is how I'm choosing to see it. I'm also working on seeing that after all this passes, and folks, it will pass, that we will emerge better for having gone through this time alone, together. I hear a lot of people right now who are complaining as they want to go back to normal. Really? You want to go back to normal? The way it was? I'm truly, for myself, not interested in going back to normal. The old normal was not serving humanity. And for years, humanity has been crying out to God for change. And in my opinion, change has come upon us from our call. And now it is up to humanity to do an inventory and reset our course. No matter what it is that we set our minds to, God will be with us in the journey. This pandemic is begging us to realize no matter where you are, what social status you think you may have achieved, no matter what nationality, race, color, or religion you profess, is calling us to awaken to the truth that no one is immune to the things of the world, or better than, or less than anyone else. The ultimate realization is this pandemic offers us is to realize and to live from the awareness that we are all one. Humanity has cried out, has sent the energy for change to happen, because we intuitively knew that humanity was not doing what was working. The old normal had us at odds with one another over politics and religion and who is right and who is wrong and who has the nicest hair. I mean, I got the nicest hair, both of them. Humanity was controlled by our ego instead of love and mutual respect for all of God's creations. The old normal itself created more separation between the wealthy and the poor, and who was entitled and who was not. We created a division over the color of our skins and forgot about honoring the content of the hearts and the souls. We have not yet embraced this truth that skin color doesn't define who we are as God's children or who we even love. In the past 30 years, our commitments have grown looser, even to the point where people no longer want to make much of a commitment. We focus on making a living rather than living. Many have sold, unfortunately, their souls for the sake of making a buck at the expense of and through the exploitation of others. Humanity has diverted its eyes from what is morally wrong to refusing to practice the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of the great spiritual teachers and sages around the world. Instead, many twisted their messages to suit their own greed and personal agenda, only to find out they cannot take any of it with them when they die. Trust me, I have performed literally hundreds of funerals and celebration of life services over the years, and not one took their bank account and their holdings with them. The old normal was when people were more concerned at looking good rather than being good. Living the good life was all about who can accumulate the most toys. It became a common practice in the pursuit of these toys that humanity seemed not to care whom they used and those whom they climbed over and may have even destroyed along the way. Before the virus, people were retreating into a virtual world because they believed it was easier living there than the physical world. And yes, it can be. but it's not living. Many have retreated to the virtual world so they didn't have to deal with or look at themselves. And last of all, they don't want to be responsible because that might mean they have to do something, and it even may be painful to accept. Families. Our families have found themselves being estranged from each other to survive physically. We were told in order to get ahead, we must set aside what is really important. No time for the kids, no time for the spouse, no downtime to process anything. Just get up, push your way through life in an effort to just put food on the table and keep a roof over our heads. Sadly, in the end, they found there was no one at the table because their families were doing what everybody else was doing. They had to strive to just survive. That's not living. That's not God's intention for us. Humanity, I believe, has been focused on the biggest and the best. We extol celebrities, athletes, business people, and dismiss those who actually are working to keep us alive. Today, humanity is less likely to pick up an instrument or to learn a new craft, learn a new song, or to think and act upon what will help us. Instead, we spend more time on our phones and computers than we do in conversation with our family and friends. I'm guilty of that as well. The old pushed us away from reading and away from deep concentration required by books in favor of news flashes and somebody's opinion and certain commentaries. In the old normal, we only digested bite-sized chunks of information while scrolling on social media rather than looking to see if what was being stated was even true in the first place. My friends, the list goes on. Deaths from despair, the opioid crisis, alcoholism, our loss of social solidarity and moral bearings, and evidence of lingering racial disparities, and a weary sense of meaninglessness across our country and around our world. That was the old normal. All of this and so much more has brought us to the brink of collapse. So, what are you going to do with this special pause in the madness? Do you really want to go back and create all of that over again? Do you want the world to continue reacting out of our wounded souls? Or are you going to heal yours and to help others heal theirs? Are you going to get bitter? Or are you going to take this time to become better? More loving, more understanding, more respectful, and practice living from the space of gratefulness instead of selfishness. I sit here and I have been thinking about all of you who are on the front lines of this spiritual evolution taking place in the most extraordinary time in human history. I think what is so remarkable underlying all of this is that we all are in this together. We are in this together in the timeless now. Many have made an agreement, I believe, spiritually, to show up and to be of service to our collective humanity right here and right now. I believe we as light workers signed up to shine our light so that others may see their own. And I believe we as light workers signed up so others may feel connected even when separation is now called for our physical safety. I believe that we as light workers signed up to shine our lights so that others may feel that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And honestly, I am so grateful to be a part of this now. I believe that we as light workers are called to bring light into the darkness. You are actual proof of the living light and infinite love and grace of God that is bringing healing to our planet and restoring humanity to civility, respect, love, and kindness. So I am so grateful for you. I'm just so, so grateful. Thank you all for all that you are doing. Thank you for your work, your inner work, and thank you for being a light into this world that can seem so dark to so many. Well, we've come to the end of our time here together today. And I just want to say again, thank you from the bottom of my mind, my heart, and my soul for the wonderful good that you are doing. We want to thank each and every one of you who have given to this ministry to help keep us operating. We are truly grateful, and we know that you will be blessed beyond measure. So if you would like to donate to our center, please feel free to do so. You can send a check to Unity of Sebring. The address is 10417 South Orange Blossom Boulevard, Sebring, Florida, 33875. That's Unity of Sebring, 10417 South Orange Blossom Boulevard, Sebring, Florida, 33875. Now, if you need to talk, please call 863-471-1122. Just leave a message, and one of us will get back to you as soon as we can. If you are in need of prayer, you can also call that number, 863-471-1122. Again, we are with you. We love you, and I look so forward to being with you again. Lastly, if you look right below where this video is playing, there is another little way in which you can give to this ministry. Just hit the PayPal button, and we will and share your gifts, and we will receive those and use them rightly. Let us pray. Gracious Heavenly Creator, we take this time of this now moment that you have given us to create a better world, to get our lives in order, to heal our wounds, and to help the world heal theirs. Help us as we become aligned to the divine truths, that we are all one, and that we all are equal in your eyes. Thank you, God, for the creative imaginations of those around our world who are seeking to find answers, who are seeking to find new ways to help us live better lives. Thank you, God, and may God bless each and every one of you. Until we see each other again, bye-bye.